Okay, so in the last video I showed how to get the motor to start and start moving in a direction and a power that we want. The next step is to try to get a little more control over that. And so in this case, what I might want to do is add uh, a weight there and have it not go on and on forever. Right now, all this does is say turn that motor on, and then as soon as the battery runs out, that's when it stops. But we probably want it to stop at some point. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a weight, and then I'm going to set these pins again to a condition that stops them. And so I'm actually going to go right here. I'm going to duplicate these, put that in there. I don't need the weight at the end, so I can get rid of it. And then as I showed it right at the end of that last video, I can set both of those to low. I can also, if I want, get rid of the power, because if it's not moving, we don't need any power set to that pin, and so I can actually change that and change that to 0, and so now it's got that 0 power level. And what we should notice is that it moves forward for a while at about 50% speed. It was running at about 160. This is about half of that, and then it stopped. And so we've got our program able to stop right there. Another thing we can do is actually have the button change some of that information. And so I'm going to put that over here and kind of build it off to the side. Anytime you have an if, it is good to have it repeat, because the controller is going to check for that condition. If it's true, it's going to go and in there and do whatever's within that if statement. If not, it's going to do whatever's in the else, and it's going to repeat that one time. It's only going to do it one time. And we're going to want this to kind of repeat for a little while. And so we might have it repeat for amount of time. But for us, I think what I'm going to do is just put in a forever loop, just to have it kind of do the same thing over and over again. We are looking for a condition, and so we can look in our math folder right here. And what I'm going to do is take this condition right here, and instead of it being 1 equals 1, I'm going to say if that input, and I've got right here my button input on number 3. And so I've got a digital input right here, and that's number 13. If that is equal to 1, and so in other words, if that button is pressed in, it is supplying power to that button, I'm going to have that off to the side, my motor running. If not, I'm going to set it to stop, and so I'm just going to move all of that over. I can get rid of that. Right here is just comments. I can keep those. I could put those off to the side wherever I want to, but let's take a look and see what happens when this goes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that button, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and I'm going to press that. And so whenever it is pressed in, it is on. If it is not pressed in, it is stopped. If I wanted this to move for a little while, I could actually put in that wait. And so I could have it run for 3 seconds. It will get stuck in these loops, and so once it reads that the digital pin is equal to 1, that is to say it is pressed in and supplying power to that port, pin 11 will turn on, to 126. Pin 10 will go to high, pin 9 will go low, and then it will wait for 3 seconds and not do anything else. And so it's not going to stop during that time. And so if I press this, I can unpress it, I can move my mouse, and it's going to keep doing that wait until all 3 seconds are done, and then it will start to check those conditions again. So it kind of does, if we have a long wait in here, like 10 seconds, as soon as we hit there and press the button, all of a sudden we can see I can't unpress the button. It's going to keep just running until it's all done. Okay. And so that's one way to get our button to work, where we want it to run after we press that button. We don't want it to do anything when the button's not pressed in, and there's how we get it to keep checking that until we turned off, and all that. So that is kind of one way to program our get moving. Obviously, this is only for one motor. If we want to set a second motor up, we would just have to make sure we get the pins correct, and those conditions are correct as well. So this portion right here is just going to expand a little bit to make sure all of those different portions are correct. So good luck. Program yours to run for a little while and stop, and then you'll be well on your way to kind of the next step